Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Today is Friday, January the 16th. Hello, hello. How is everybody? It's a Friday. We are looking at a Friday market on an OPEX, options expiration Friday. So actually might be fixing to jump into a trade real quick here because we are getting a nice push up toward the VWAP here, which I like. I am looking at the 691 calls for today's expiration. I'm going to go ahead and jump in there. I am in, punch it. What I'm looking for is a test of the VWAP here. That VWAP is the white line right there. And how's that for welcome to the stream, and let's jump right in. If you're here, drop your name in the chat. I would love to meet you, get to know you, answer any questions or comments that you have. Good morning, Anna. Good to see you. Freaky Turkey, good morning. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to test the VWAP, and then I will jump out for a very small profit, not looking for anything big. All right. And we will start analyzing this chart here in just a few minutes as soon as I'm out of this trade. I'd like to get another push here. Hopefully they don't reverse it on us because it's a little bit of, I jumped in a little late on the move. But when we start pushing the VWAP, that's a good sign. And we're right here at the overnight low. So this has been a little area of contention so far today. We've had a little bit of fighting going on here. You can see between the bulls and the bears, we're kind of fighting this area, this yellow line here. It's right close to the flat line as well, meaning flat line is what I call the where we go from green to red or red to green based on yesterday's close. So little weakness right here on this last test. And it is coming down, so I don't like that price action. By a huge amount. So we're down about, it sounds like a huge amount, but it's not. We're at about 400 million on the negative net. All right, let's see if we can push that VWAP one more time. If we start dropping down, I might have to jump out here, and I don't want to do that. We like it. Keep it going. Here, good morning. I am in a call and it's going against me, Gavlan. So if you're not in, don't join yet until you start to see this thing turn back up. Because right now it's down a little bit for me. If it continues to drop, I'll have to jump out. But I'd like to see a push of the VWAP here. That's why I got in. We can get one more good push here. It's been a little trappy today. It is OPEX, options expiration. So we usually do see some swings. Anna is here. I want to join a call too. All right, Anna. Just be careful. Make sure it's turning up because right now it's giving us a little grief. Looking a little better. That's a little better. Here we go. It's just kind of stalling out here. So I don't love the price action. I'd like to see a little bit of a push on volume upside. Stalling right here at the O. Need one more good push toward that VWAP. Little volume would be great. There we go. There we go. All right. Just kind of faltering here a little bit. One more push. Needs to go green, which will be pretty much right at the VWAP. All right, I'm baby green here. I'm going to get out. I don't love the price action. I'm going to wait for it to come up and cross the VWAP. It's stalling out right here, so I'm going to get out at a break even. Baby green, what it was. BD is here. Good morning. Good to see you. I'll wait. There we go. I'll wait for a little better entry. And I would much rather take a flat or a tiny win than get stuck in a loser. So that's my thought process on it. Gavilan, do you think it'll go above the VWAP? I think so. There it goes, guys. If I'd have stayed in a second more, but you know what? I don't FOMO these moves. I'm okay with taking a tiny win. I'm okay with that. When the price action starts getting wonky like here, that's when I'm like, wait for a better entry. All right, so here's a nice cross over the VWAP. Can we trade this? Yes, I think we can. I'm looking at the 692 calls. I'm going to watch this candle here and see how we respond to this cross over the VWAP. This is a bit of an extended move, so that's what you got to be aware of. We've come all the way from down here at 10:43 Eastern. So now we're at 11:09. So it's been about a 25 minute move. So we got to be careful with that as well. Once these moves get a little old, they can lose some steam. All right, how far do you think it'll go? I think it'll go back up a good bit, actually, Gavilan, I really do. But it doesn't have to be on this move. But I do think we're headed back up today. That's a nice little Positive reclaim of the VWAP there. That's what we want to see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try one more call here. I'm in. And I'm out at 4%. We're getting a little extended off of these moving averages. So I took a quick win. See how the price is starting to create space between the moving average. So when I see that, I'm very cautious, but that was a quick 4% win. All right, Freaky Turkey, maybe at the 5 DMA at 693.1. Maybe so, Freaky. Thank you for that. RSI is topping, probably getting a put opportunity soon-ish. Maybe, Freaky, but I think what we're doing is reversing. So let me back out here so you can see. Looking like a V-shaped reversal right here. And this being OPEX, this is the key, guys. With OPEX, options expiration, anything goes. These guys can push this thing all over the board today. And so that's where we have to be careful. Now, we were, like I said, we were sitting in negative gamma. We're now sitting in positive gamma. So that's a good sign for continued upward movement. But see how it starts to come back. When you see us get too far away from these moving averages, you can always expect either sideways or downward until these moving averages have a chance to catch up. When you see a lot of air between the price and the moving average, especially this short average, that's where you got to be cautious. That's why I was out real fast. My style of trading is scalping. I'm not swinging for the fences. I'm not holding long. I'm buying today's expiration and trying to get out within a few seconds usually is what I'm trying to do. All right, so here's a little retest of the VWAP from the upside. Nice positive gamma. We've got our call wall sitting at 693. Best tool for seeing negative versus positive market gamma. I'm using Shutterflow, Freaky. It's a great question. Thank you for asking. I pay about $100 a month for that. It's a good tool. It doesn't just have gamma. It also has dark pool, which I like to look at. All right, here's a push down through the VWAP. Now, could we look at puts here? We can, just like what you were saying there. What were you saying? I lost your... There you go, Freaky. Freaky was saying that just a minute ago. Was it a good opportunity for puts? And we could look at puts here. Where we're battling right here is this. Right here, this overnight low. And it's on two different spots because I have it on the SPY. I also have it on the ES. The ES I track just a little bit differently, the hours, right? But this overnight low has been our fight zone pretty much most of the morning. Now, it also corresponds with our flat line, which is where we opened today versus where we closed yesterday. That's what I call the flat line. So we are just now going flat. And we've been fighting this zone, as you can see, pretty much all morning. We opened up with this little fake pop to the upside and then a drop all the way down to this level. This is our flatline level, also our overnight low. Came down below it, up above it, down below it, up above it, down below it, and then made a V shape. So we have recovered about 69.60 to 69, about 20 points of this drop we've recovered. And we're just fighting it out right here. So this is where I'm going to be cautious. It also corresponds with the VWAP. So when you have confluence of three different things happening, we've got the flat line, we've got the overnight low, and we have the VWAP. You have to pay attention. That's a lot of confluence in one area. This could be a magnet for a while. Could be a place where we move sideways. So I'm going to be cautious here. I'm not going to jump into any trades just yet. And Freaky Turkey saying thanks. You are welcome. You're very welcome. All right. So if you're just joining, I'm Mel Gacee. This is Day Trading Together Live. Trading Together is my channel name, and I do live day trading and market analysis and teaching and training every day for free at 9 a.m. Mountain or 11 a.m. Eastern. And so if you have joined me today, I'm really grateful for that. I love having company here to trade with, and I love teaching. It's something that I'm good at, I enjoy doing, and it's something I needed when I was a new trader. I did not have a mentor, and it could have saved me years of anguish. So if I can be your friend and your mentor, I would be very honored. So any questions you have, I just want you to feel free to drop those. There are no newbie questions. There are no dumb questions. Don't ever think that. If you have the question, I guarantee you someone else has the question. So drop it in the chat. I'll tackle all that I can for any level of trader. I've been doing this for 20 years, so I can talk at any level, but I don't want to talk over anyone's heads. I want to make this understandable, and I want to make this fun, because it is fun. I love trading. It's what I do for a living. So that's why I'm here. All right. So like I said, I think we are ranging right here at this confluence of levels, right? So I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to enter a trade just yet. We are getting a little bounce here. I think we will continue upward. All right. Gavilan is in a call and a little bit negative. Okay, Gavilan. We could, like I said, we could pull sideways here, but it looks like it wants to try to push. So let's see what we can get. It's been a nice little bullish reversal here from this bottom. And again, on OPEX, options expiration, anything goes. We can see very wild, large, and crazy swings. That is the order of business. We did see some yesterday, although the day started awfully slow. By the end of the day, we had dipped pretty hard and also then come back up just a little bit. So it's some of those swings were already taking place yesterday. And let me try to explain it. So we have options that expire daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. We even have leaps that go way out. But basically, dailies are what we trade here on this stream. It's 0 days to expiration, today's expiration. Weeklies are, of course, those that expire at the end of the week. And then monthlies, of course, expire the third Friday of the month. Today is the third Friday of the month. Monthly options are expiring. Now, as a retail trader, we don't have a ton of advantages, but the one great advantage that we do have is our speed. We are able to get in and get out and hit that boom, boom, boom really fast because we're moving smaller numbers. These big whales, they can't move. They cannot jump in and out the way we can because they have big numbers and they are trying to turn a massive ship. That's what they're trying to do. We're nimble. We're light on our feet. We're in and out. We're fast. That's my niche. That's how I make money. Big guys can't do that. So that's our one advantage. What the big guys have to do is move slowly. If they want to sell, they can't go out there and drop millions of dollars of sell orders on the market because what happens? The market goes against them. The very thing they're trying to do, sell, once they start selling these massive numbers, what happens to the market? Boom, it's going to drop, right? You got millions of dollars of sell orders out there, boom, the market drops. So it goes against them. They can't get out of their own positions. So what they have to do is step in and step out, leg in and leg out is what they have to do. So one way that they do that is they set orders at these monthly expirations. Hedge funds do this, institutional money does this. So you can see that they're putting in money at these monthly expirations, and you can see it on the volume and the open interest. You can see it right on the option chain that, they parked some positions there. All right, we're moving up here. I'm going to load calls. I'm loading the 692s. I'm not in just yet. I'm just checking some of my screens here. All right. I have to deal with one of my accounts real quick before I jump into another trade. All right. That's done. A little maintenance there. Thanks for being patient. All right. So I kind of like this climb here. Let me double check and make sure I still like this call. We just beat the VWAP on the ES. I'm going to take this call here, punch it, I'm in. It is moving a lot, and I could go against us because it's been a long run here. Okay, a little bit of a reversal there. Let's see if we push up through this 200 again. All right, Freaky, what's the highest number of contracts you've seen or comfortable with before you start to lose the nimbleness and can't get out quickly enough? That is such a great question. I mean, when you're even in the hundreds of thousands, you can still get in and out, I would say. I'd say you start kind of in that $200,000, $300,000 range. That might start, making the market tick a bit, but I think you can still move at that level. All right, so we got a little test of the 200 here. That's this blue line right here. That blue line is the 200 period moving average. And so we're getting a little bit of a kind of a response there. Let's see if we can give that another push. See if we're still looking positive on the gamma. We are not quite as high, but 1.7 billion in positive net gamma. That's good. It's telling me we're positive. I'm going to take a look at the volume here. Little bit higher volume sitting at the 693. And the next highest is sitting at 694. So let's see if we can get a climb up there to 693, 694. They may pull us down first. There's another little attempt. All right, let's see if we can continue this climb. It's given us a little bit of a pause here. We are still at the VWAP on the ES and over it on the SPY, so that's good. Coming under it on the ES. I'll give this trade a little room. They've been a little trappy today, that's for sure. All right, and let's take a look at our leaderboard. What's going on over here? The Qs are still negative, so we're kind of outpacing the Qs right now. Remember, the Qs are the ETF over the NASDAQ, so that's looking a little negative. Usually they're leading, so it's not a great sign that they're looking negative, so I want to kind of keep that in my rear view or side view mirror. All right, BD is in on the 692 contract. 128. Wow, very good. Out at 139. Excellent. Took the touch of the VWAP done for the day. Had some slippage. Should have been out at 138. Broker is Weeble. Yeah, I feel you, BD. The slippage is annoying, but good for you. And glad you're done for the day on a positive day. I'm also positive for the day, so I'll give this trade a few minutes to play out. But good that you had a win today. Congrats. Really glad to hear that. All right, let's see if we can get this to push again. I don't think this upward trend is broken yet. And again, like I said, the Qs are below us, which we don't love. That's not great. We'd like to see the Qs push up. Qs are sitting just under their flat line. All right, let's see if we can make another run at this 200 here. Right there is where I'm looking to target a little break above it. And they're just not moving too much right now. Need a little volume push there. But as far as the leaderboard, we do have Broadcom up about 1.3. That's nice. MSTR popping up today. That's unusual because Bitcoin has been coming down just a bit. Meta, 0.72 up. Bitmine coming up too. That's great. NVIDIA up 0.4. So that's not great. NVIDIA needs to... If this rally is going to keep going, we really need the Mag 7 to get on board. That's really what we need. So Russell is up today, up 0.37. That's great. All right, this trade is starting to turn around for me. Come on now, one more little push here. We just need to break this 200 overhead. Nice little push. Okay, back to the leaderboard. Here we go. That helps. That's a little breakthrough. Now we just need to hold it, not come back under it. Stop it. All right, we're up plus 5 points. See if we get another little push right here. Qs are just starting to turn green again. That's good news. All right. Kind of a slow candle right here. Gavilan, the Qs are a little green. They are. That's exactly right. They just turned baby green, so that's good news for us. All All right, starting to get a little jumpy here. Let's see if we can push. Sometimes when it starts jumping, you see a direction appear. Could be either way. Nope, still kind of toggling here. Need a little push. There we go. That's nice. All right, I'm going to take a little green right here, just about 2%, not much, but I want to, there we go. Very nice. All right. Excellent. All right. Looking good today so far. And my wins have been tiny, but I'm telling you, they add up. They really do. We're coming up right now to this green line overhead. This line is the line that I draw every day. This is our opening range, our first 15 minutes, and this is the low of that range. Anna was a little stressed out. She got 5%. Great job, Anna. It can be stressful when they do this kind of baloney or this toggling. It is really stressful. And I will say this, guys, if you are feeling super stressed about a position, consider moving back a little bit on your position size. It's better to be, even if you're not making as much money as you want to, it's better to not have that level of stress. Go to a position size that doesn't cause you to feel anxiety. You'll trade better, trust me. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a response right here from the underside. Look at this V, guys. Look at the V. This is so classic OPEX behavior, options expiration. This is classic. These big swings, they do this all the time at options expiration. And here's the reason. We were talking about those big guys, right? They're setting their positions at the monthlies. They're not able to move in and out quickly. And so when we get to the end of the month, it is my theory that the market is heavily manipulated, and they manipulate these levels to where they need them to be so that they can get out and that they can get in, right? So they'll pull it down 30, 40, 50, sometimes 100 points and push it back up because they want it down so that they can buy. They want it up so they can sell. And so you see this a lot at OPEX. We saw it yesterday. We're seeing it today. I always prepare myself for swings on days like this. All right. Oh, Freaky got 10%. Nicely done. You must have held a little bit longer, and good for you. Nicely done. All right. Anna, risking way over my budget. Okay, Anna. Risk management is number one. Risk management. We have to live to trade another day. And I say that from experience because I've blown up many accounts in my early trading years, many accounts with poor risk management. So my rule of thumb is I keep my position sizes consistent, and I usually keep them to within 2 to 5% of my account size. Now, not everyone can do that. If you have a small account and you're trading options, it's very challenging to try to keep a trade at 2% of your account. If you're working with $1,000 account or less, you're not going to be able to make that trade at 1% of your account. Can't be done. So in that case, you've got to have a little bit more risk. And there's just nothing to be done for that. It's just the way it is, right? But at the same time, keep it as small as you can. Go to one contract, I would not recommend going too far out of the money, guys. When you start lowering your deltas, you're lowering your ability to win that trade. So just remember that there's a reason. Let me show you the options chain. There is a reason why these prices start going down, isn't there? Do you want to buy a 1 penny contract? You want to buy the calls for 1 penny? Sounds great, right? Hey, a buck? Yeah, I could get a bunch of those for a penny. Yes, you can. But what's the delta? Zero. This trade is very, very unlikely to play out for you. So that is what you have to remember. I'm always taking my trades at the money. At worst, I'll take them one out of the money. I want my deltas to be right around 50 or better. Sometimes I'll take these 46s, one out of the money, sometimes. But most of the time, I will trade in the money and even one or two deeper in the money sometimes. So just be aware of that. Your delta tells you how that option is going to move when the underlying moves. SPY is the underlying in this case. When SPY moves, if you've got a good delta, your option's going to move right there with it. If you've got a delta down here of below 20 and SPY is moving, guess what your option is doing? Nothing. It's not doing anything. SPY can be going up and you're sitting on this delta of 10 or 20. SPY's moving up and this guy's just sitting there. Eventually it'll move up, but it does not move the same as an at the money, in the money option. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, inner joy, me. Oh, I really feel you. I do. I have been there. I know how hard it is. You're working another job. You're trying to put all your extra pennies in your trading account, and it is not easy. It is hard out there. So I get it, Anna. I get it. So, risk management is key, but when you're working in a small account, there isn't much you can do about it. You got to take your risks when you're doing that. But I will say this for you, Anna. You can go one out of the money. I don't know where you're going on your trades, but you can go one out of the money. So right now, the calls in the money, the 692s are 146. That'd be $146 per contract. The next ones out are the 693s at 82 cents or $82, right? So a little more than half, right? Maybe 60% of that price. So that option will move pretty closely in your favor, pretty closely. Not as good as in the money. It's just not. But if you're in that small account place, I get it. You can go one out of the money. Can go two, but then you're starting to push it. See, our two out of the money here right now is sitting at a 31 delta. It's iffy, right? It's iffy. So just keep that in mind, guys. Okay. All right. Anna saying thank you for your guidance. Of course. Absolutely. Of course. I'm sorry. Let me get back to the chart. Still climbing, but we're getting a little slowdown. Like I said, right here at this opening range low, right? So we hit it, bounce down, coming back up to try it again from the underside. So we're knocking on that ceiling. Need to push up through it. I think we will. I feel pretty confident that we're going to continue up today. Hopefully the big boys are done dragging it down, but you never know. We've got our VIX giving us a little downward turn here. You can see it slowly creeping down because the market is creeping up. All right. What are our Qs doing? Qs are looking a little bit positive, just a little bit, up about 0.05. That is not much. That's flatline area. We're not up that much either. But I do think we'll climb some more today. We have some strong levels sitting at 700 on the SPY, 7,000, 7,020 on the SPX. That is overhead by about 50 points. Could we tag that today? I think it's entirely possible. With this being OPEX, I think it is possible that we could come up and tag that 7,000 on the SPX today. But right now, they're certainly not giving us much to go on. It's a nice climb. It's a beautiful climb, but we're still just kind of not giving any force to this breakthrough here. So yeah. Freaky, do I trade SPX? You better believe it. I do. I love to trade SPX. And it is very liquid. I don't have any trouble getting in and out of SPX. So I will. On this stream, I trade SPY just because it is easier for newer traders to get in. It's cheaper, it's easier. But yeah, in my own trades, I trade SPX a lot, and I like to trade it. So yeah, the other thing SPX is nice for are credit spreads. So I like doing credit spreads as well, and SPX is a great place to do that. So because it's an index, it's cash settled. You don't run the risk of assignment. You get same day expirations. So all those things are a great reason to trade credit spreads on the SPX. And if you don't know what credit spreads are, don't worry, you'll get there. The first step is to understand basic calls and puts and being the buyer. On this stream, I'm the buyer of these options. In my own personal trading, I do sell options, but on this stream, we're gonna do some buying first and get comfortable with that. And once we start kind of graduating, then we can start looking at selling options and selling spreads. You have higher probabilities when you sell spreads. You have higher probabilities of winning. So it's a great strategy. All right. So still just hanging out here at the opening range bottom. So I have a lot of lines on this chart, but let me go over. More risk in selling, Gavilan says. Yeah, you better believe it. More risk in selling. But that's where the spread helps. The spreads will give you some protection from that unlimited risk that you get in selling options. You're exactly right, Gavilan. It is higher risk. And usually there's always the risk reward trade-off. That works in all of the universe. It's not just trading. You risk more, you make more. You risk less, you make less. And that is the way it is in trading and pretty much everywhere in life. When we trade credit or we sell credit, we sell premium, we are risking more, but we have higher probabilities of being successful. All right, looks like we might be pushing up through this opening range. So if we do that, I might consider another call here. We are getting this little push right here. And we've been on a strong run for an hour. This is a solid hour that we've been pushing upward. So I would expect this move to get tired at some point. So we don't want to buy the top, that's for sure. But I think there's more overhead. So I might wait a minute to see these moving averages reset a little bit before I take another call. Although I do think there's more overhead to go. I might wait. What I'd like to see is maybe something like this, a little pullback here, a little pullback here. That's what I'd like to see. We might not get that. This is very strong push here, but slow. It's just creeping, We could load some calls. I'm going to load 690. I'll load 693s. I'm not in them, but I am watching this break of the opening range. So once we get inside there, I think we can go farther. So if I zoom out, you can see my lines. Freaky, it's at the 5-day. Okay. I'm on a minute chart, so I can't see the 5-day, but I believe you, and that is an important level. All right. Like I said, this move has been going on for an hour. I do think we've got more to go, but I'm really careful here because we might get a pullback, and that would be a better entry anyway. However, we're breaking this opening. Okay. Okay. We're breaking the opening range bottom, which I like. And we're getting a volume push. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try a call here. I'm in. And we're just getting a little pullback here on this candle. Down about 5% on the trade so far. That was a nice volume push, so I'd like to see this continue upward. But again, like I said, the move is tired. It does need to take a breath. All right. I'm just a baby green right now on the trade. Let's see if we can get one more little push. Usually when we see that volume push, we can see a continuation. Don't want to see this reverse. Bit of a red candle here, a little bit of a retracement. If we break down through this opening range, I don't like that. Need to hold that. I'm sitting here for now. Just sitting right on that opening range. And these levels, I'll show you guys in a few minutes when we're out of this trade. These levels are important. These opening range levels, they really are. All right, little push down through it. You've got a little bit of a push down here. Don't love it. Let's see if we can get a reclaim. And I'm just looking over here at the leaderboard to see what everyone is doing. All right, see if we can get another push up through that range right there. There's a little one. right. A little bit of strength, a little bit. There we go. That's better. Okay. Just needed to continue on just a few more points. Here we go. Almost flat on this trade. See if we can give this one more push here. There we go. Yep, little red. Back down to the range. You're just fighting right here on this range. We do have some more room overhead. I'm pretty sure of that. Okay, trying to hold that line again. All right, so it's just kind of hovering here just below this range line. Giving us a little breakdown. All right, not a good candle. I don't like that one. I'll look at my gamma here real quick. Still sitting squarely in positive gamma, so I think we're okay right now. I'm going to give this some room. All right, holding on. We are also breaking the 20, which I don't like, this golden line right here. And this is a trade I would consider averaging. We talked about dollar cost averaging, I think yesterday. This is a trade I would consider averaging if it drops against us pretty hard. I think we do have some room overhead. Volume picking up a little bit. There we go. That was a big volume spike there. Usually that means that we're headed in a a direction, right? That's ambiguous, but either the volume is going to mean that we're reversing and moving up, or they're going to add some force to the downward move. So that's what we have to watch right here. All right, small pull up there. We do have the VIX climbing here, which I don't love. All right. Definitely giving us a drop here. And we're heading toward the VWAP. So if we get a bounce at the VWAP, I might consider an average right here on this trade. If we break through it, we might have to get out. Breaking through. I'm going to watch this candle close. No. All right, little green candle here. All right, Gavilan, can't wait to graduate. You're doing great, Gavilan. You're doing great. All right, at the 5-day. Thank you. And is it possible to hit 694? Oh, I absolutely think it's possible to hit 694. All right, there's a nice bounce at the VWAP. We like that. All right, I'm considering an average here. I'm thinking about it. We can continue on with the green candle here. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get another drop down through the VWAP here. Okay, looking better. And I'm watching this, the VWAP over here on the ES, because like I said, it's in just a slightly different position. Looks like the VIX gave us a little bit of a down red candle here. That's good. Just not quite climbing yet. It was a nice response at the VWAP, so I like that. Not quite hitting the climb yet. They're just kind of keeping it still right now. feeling a little weak. Volume is starting to descend a little bit, so we need a little volume infusion here. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wait. That candle was looking hopeful there for a minute. Come on. Give us a green candle. Dropping back to the VWAP, was that a little breather? Could be, yeah, absolutely. All right, we are at the end of the stream. I'm going to be watching this trade. I'm probably going to average it. I think we have more to climb, but if they drop it against us, that could be challenging. So I may average this out and wait for another retest of this opening range. But if we lose the VWAP here and come down hard, I might have to take a stop out at that point. Right now, we're just kind of sideways. It's looking a little better. Just kind of holding this level right here. I'm giving it a few minutes. So they're not doing anything right now, just pulling it sideways. It does feel a bit weak here, so we need some infusion of strength to the upside. A little better. So where it's still kind of sitting is right at this VWAP on the ES. That's just a different spot. Very close though. What I want to see is it break this little top right here to the upside before I consider averaging. So averaging is something I'm really careful about because it just basically, you don't want to put good money after bad. If the trade is bad, the trade is bad. And so we don't know that yet. We have to watch and see. All right, what is the alpha A2? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that, Gavilan. All right, still sideways. Volume is descending again. Okay, there's some infusion of strength here. Very nice. Let's keep climbing. All right, looking better, looking better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and average here. I took the average. All right, let's see if we can push that top on the Schwab chart. Okay. I am not sure. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. Great question, though. I'll look it up, Gavilan. And we are at the end of the stream. So I took the average. I'm going to hold here for a minute. As long as we don't break hard through the VWAP, I'm going to give this space. And as soon as we hit this opening range, I'm probably going to jump out at that point. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. It's always fun to trade with you. I'll report back tomorrow and let you know how this trade went for us. But we'll be back for MLK Day. So we'll be back on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Mountain or 11 a.m. Eastern. So question BD. I'll be back on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Mountain and 11 Eastern. Good luck to all of you. We'll be back and I appreciate you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.